This is a Homelite Ranger. I believe it's a 2003 model. It's a UT10947A. I did a video on this exact chainsaw about 5 years ago when I got it. But it was my first time dealing with chainsaws, so there was a lot of unsafe demonstrations that I made there, and I wasn't very proud of the video, so I unlisted it. So I'm going to make another video on this with more knowledge and wisdom. So this is 33cc as indicated by the recoil cover and the emissions information. Also mentions that right there. Has a 16-inch bar with a Oregon chain. I replaced this last year, and I took the tip guard off because I don't need it. It pretty much never ran perfectly, and it got lent out to a family member and basically put away in this condition. I used it a few times last fall up until I accidentally ran it through the mud, and now it cuts diagonally. It cuts crooked. Although I'm not sure, but I think it didn't quite cut straight to begin with. So I'm going to do two things today. I'm going to figure out why, and I'm also going to replace the primer bulb that's split open. Thankfully, sometime last year I also bought a primer bulb kit for my other Homelite, the trimming edge, and it comes with one of these in the kit, and I held on to it just in case I would need it for something, and I'm quite certain it's going to fit. Just knocked over my carburetor. For the most part, the saw actually runs pretty good now. I got it better adjusted. I put fresh fuel in it. With the fuel I was running through it was contaminated with water recently. And I'm hoping that replacing this primer bulb will only require one tool, but I imagine that's not going to be the case. I have a general dislike for this saw because it's so cheaply made, like all Homelites are. But when you get something that runs fairly okay for no money at all, this was thrown out, so I got it for free. You tend not to complain too much. But now that I've ran saws made by Echo and by old Poulan, I had that Craftsman 3.7. You look at saws like this and you wonder, like, why? You know why they exist, but you wish it wasn't for the reason that they're just to buy cheap, use them a couple times, and throw them away and buy another one. But you gotta fill that market segment somehow. I'm going to try to clean this air filter, because I think in order to get another one of these I'd have to order online. They don't sell them in the big box stores anymore. Alright, that should be fairly easy. I think what I'll do... Actually, I should be able to just... Oh, alright. I was not expecting that. So I can just pop this out a bit. Reach my fingers in, squeeze the two tabs, and pop it out. Make sure I know which one runs to the tank. Okay, the clear one runs to the carburetor. The one that runs to the tank is the return line. Alright. And they look to be identical. That was easy. You know what happens when you don't put something in the exact way? You look at it closer. This happens. Don't pay close attention to what you're doing. You might put it in upside down and force it and break stuff. Thankfully, it'll just be held in. It can still be held in with just one clip, I believe. I guess we'll just take everything apart then. Oh, you need Torx for them. Alright, we're done here for now. Shut the video off. Ice cream truck in the background again. Well, it's in. I was putting it in wrong. So, let my mistake, or learn from my mistakes. I still make them from time to time. I don't usually deal with these types of primer bulbs. Although it is a good thing I had to take this apart because it gave me a better look at the fuel lines. I saw this clear one and thought it was going under and then up into the carburetor, but lo and behold, it's going straight to the tank. So this is actually the return line. This is the one, the suction line for the carburetor. So I was putting that in wrong anyway. And I would have learned that the hard way much later. At least now I can hook these up properly, and I can do it fairly easily too. That's more like it. At least now I can see it. There we go. We'll hook our switch back up. There we go. Alright. Choke is functional. Primer is functional. Okay, throttle cable moved back in. And I'm guessing that's the right way. This is what we got going for a throttle, by the way. This design. Trigger doesn't pull on the cable, it pushes and pulls on it that way. It's ridiculous, but it works, I guess. Long Torx runs through the pivot for the trigger. I need to get myself some T-wrenches. These two are identical. You can put them in either spot. Now my battery's running out, so I guess we'll switch to the Canon camera for the rest of this while I let this charge. The log's set up here. I can't remember which side it cuts to, so I'm going to do a test cut so I can remind myself. stop. Alright. So it's cutting to the left, which means the majority of these cutters are probably fine. It's these ones that are dulled. Most likely. I can do an inspection of the bar. The bar actually isn't that worn. They don't want to go in that direction. So I guess I'll just file down some of these cutters on the right, because I have sharpened this before. I just haven't gone out. I just haven't done it evenly, apparently. So I'll do that off camera and we'll get back to you, see if we have an improvement. See if that changed anything. Look at that. That cuts all right. Just a little bit of sharpening actually helped. See, I had a couple of little bumps. I think that's good enough for a Homelite. I just have to not nail the dirt anymore. Don't get me wrong, this saw does have its place, and it's partially why I can't. Well, that and it's not. I don't really claim it as mine. My dad's the one that got it, so I'm gonna leave it with him. But it does have its use around here. It's quieter than the Echo, and it's just a little bit more powerful. The extra 3 cc's apparently does something. It's just a tiny bit heavier because it's laid out to cut a little bit more. That chain on it cuts better than that old chain ever did. It had that double skip chain. Had like instead of a tooth or cutter every 2 links like these do, it had one every 3 links or 4, and then it had a safety raker in between them, so you could barely cut anything with this, which I guess they put in. It was one to reduce kickback and another to ease up the load on this engine. But if you know how to handle a chainsaw, and I pretty much do now, you don't really need anything like that. This isn't really designed for bucking up large 10-inch logs. It doesn't have spikes for it. It's more for just the stuff you saw me cut it with. Large branches and the occasional, like, I don't know, 6-8 inch piece. That's about it. I'm actually going to clean it up later once I finish up the oh, just noticed I left the screw loose. Whatever. I'm gonna probably finish up the video by cutting up some more wood. So I guess that'll be it. there's your video, or new improved video of the Homelite Ranger. Thank you for watching.